this is a team that's got 115 charges hanging over their head. It was mentioned, the guy who's the chairman of the Premier League, who's behind these charges, is handing out the medals.
Is that Masters, is it? Or something
Richard Masters is handing out the...
Trying to argue. Chief exec, I think.
Fella's an Arsenal fan who's the lawyer and stuff. It's, you know what it is, mate? City fans won't give a toss, and I understand that. And it might sound like bitter.
They won't give a toss until they give a toss if it all got tossed.
Yeah, they do. But like right now, the sense I get is Man City fans think it's all a conspiracy theory. And they believe they've done nothing wrong, and that they'll all be cleared, and whatever comes of it. I'm not quite sure about that. We don't know how it's going to pan out. Unfortunately, mate, that doesn't give Arsenal. Even if they strip City, Arsenal haven't won the league.
Yeah, no.
And like that's the thing about it. Is like, why does it have to take so long? This like if I go and smack you in the face tonight, now I'll be arrested, I'll be in jail tomorrow, I'll be charged in the morning. The fact that these things take so frigging long to go through. Is that, and that you can legally challenge, and they've got the best lawyers in the world, and we're fighting because he's an Arsenal fan, and that, Cash can't do that.
Just because you've referenced that a couple of times. What's this Arsenal fan?
So the guy who brought the charges against him
is an Arsenal fan.
The lawyer is an Arsenal fan, and City have complained, saying the barrister shouldn't be an Arsenal fan, it should be someone neutral. Just like another complaint, another thing.
I don't think you're going to get a neutral person in English football.
No, but this is my point. Why, if they're innocent, who gives a fuck? If you're innocent, it feels like they're doing the classic Donald Trump. This is all a stitch up.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to do. And that's going back to it because they're so rich, and it's a problem in all society. Things take longer, and before you know it, it's a little sweep under the carpet there and stuff. Like judging anybody against it again, it's going back to it's Lance Armstrong in the Tour de France. It's that kind of thing. Is that. That he came second, didn't win his medals. He got given them or whatever. You don't get your moment. So whatever happens now, because and also like no one's got any faith that it's going to happen. Everyone just presumes like it'll get like last time they'll get away with it.
That also hasn't helped with, for me, the Ivan Toney situation. He was found done for betting on football games ages ago, and yet only just got his ban. I think this week was maybe his first week. He was allowed to play football whilst he was charged. Whilst he'd already known that he'd done this, he was still allowed to continually play football. As soon as you'd found that out, why wasn't he stopped? And why is he being allowed to come back to it in a year's time? Well, I know we're on two different stretches here, but if they can't control such a thing as betting a bit on some stuff, and it's not sorry to Brentford, but you're not one of the big six. You're not someone where if it happened to Liverpool, it'd be like, oh, we probably can't do that actually because Liverpool are Liverpool. It's Brentford, and they couldn't take Ivan Toney straight out of the final line and say, no, what you've done is wrong, you can stop it. And the longer it goes on, the less likely it is that anything will get done because people forget about it. What I do find absolutely hysterical is like we mention the records that they've had on how much they're earning and the revenue. Did anyone see the scenes outside the Etihad when they were announced winners? Because there was about 20 people.
Pathetic.
There was about 20 people maximum around that stadium. How can you have the maximum revenue in terms of people buying into the club if you win and you can't even get people celebrating outside the stadium?
Look at what's happening when people like Miguel Delaney's fighting this fight on Twitter, and he's all the time talking about it. When you talk about it, you get shot down as you're being biased or you're just hating. Well, they bought, Man United. It was alright when Man United bought the league and when Liverpool bought the league, but they still followed by the rules at that time. The competition rules are different. When Liverpool won the league, you could do back passes. It's the same thing. You play to the rules that you play.
There was no financial fair play when United were investing their own money into it.
That's why Blackburn win a league, because Jack Walker comes along and just goes, fuck, I'm winning this league, and pays for it. And I understand it, but City fans who use that as an argument, but the rules have changed. If everyone else is following a set of rules and you're not, you are the outlier. I like to say, they might get found completely innocent of all of these things.
It's not just everyone following the rules, though. You've got to remember Everton have fucked it.
Yeah,
but true. But they get again charged with it. And what I would say is like there are 2 points to the City thing for me is that they are an amazing football team. The footballers and that manager are incredible. They are beyond anything I've seen. They are almost like it's Barcelona and this City team to me are on a different level. And by the way, they have the fucking cyborg up front. But you will never get rid of the stigma until these charges
this
are
is
gone.
The problem for me, and this is a little bit of the way they're doing it. It's like, I'm what? You know, you give the best manager, coach manager, unlimited resources and the best possible circumstances around you, lab conditions, and say go and achieve that stuff, and lo and behold, he has. I put out on Twitter yesterday this idea of the only pedal that Pep Guardiola's facing is the pedal that faces a world-class striker when a ball gets crossed to him and he's got an empty net in front of him. It's the potential embarrassment of if you miss that. And you're not going to miss it, but there is a fractional percentage that you might put it over the bar and you get laughed at for the rest of your life. That's the only pedal Manchester City face, is that if they don't win everything, Pep might look a bit stupid. And he's actually, and look how hurt he was in those seasons when they won 4 trophies and they tried to they called it the Formidables. And Liverpool won the European Cup and no one gave a fuck that Man City won 4 trophies that season because Liverpool won the European Cup. I was there at that Managers Awards and everyone was all the trophies are laid out there. No one gave a shit. There's the European Cup, there's Jurgen Klopp, and that's the thing that's the most annoying thing, because you end up in this like, oh, you've got to give respect to footballers, you've got to give that, whatever. Fucking the best players on the planet assembled into the most expensive squad and paid ridiculous amount of wages and all that kind of stuff, with all the best training facilities and everything, are going to win. Of course they are. Yeah. Where's the fucking excitement in that? It's boring.
There's no jeopardy in any of it for them, is there? You think about, you mentioned the Phillips signing before for 50 million quid or whatever. There's no jeopardy there if he gets it wrong. There's no jeopardy if he makes a signing and it doesn't work out. He's just going to buy another one. Yeah. It's the way that they've always
done it. He's going to now play. Sorry, Steve. It's like, I was thinking about picking my fantasy team for the last couple of weeks of the season, and it was like, Put all your Man City kids in now. Put your Scott Carson in if you want, because that last game of the season now, it's like Phillips will play that last game of the season, and like Rico Lewis will play the last game of the season. Exactly, because they've pissed it.
What I would say to Paul, like, there's always been teams who've had the most money. Yeah. And I've always done it.
But having the most money, it's different. This is the problem. Sorry, it might not be your point, but this fucking really annoys me. Is because people go Blackburn. Yeah, but Blackburn didn't, over the course of 10 years, build Blackburn Rovers up into a super club. They didn't buy the best training facilities and build the stadium up to be a 60. Have you been to Eagle Park? It's a shithole. It hasn't changed. In that. It's exactly the same stadium it was in 1995 when they won the league. They put all their money onto the playing field, and that team had won the title once and had a couple of decent seasons either side of it, and then went away. We'll see this in time again. People mention the Wrexham stuff, like Rob McElhaney and Deadpool will fucking get to the fucking Championship, and that'll be it. They might even get to the Premier League, but they won't be able to come close to doing what Man City have done. So there's always examples of things where people can spend a little bit above and beyond.
Yeah, but we saw this with Abramovich though, and it does happen. But my point is,
well, they fucking cheated as well. So it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
thing.
But that's one point. They never.
Yeah, but they did.
But they didn't, because the rules weren't there. This is my point. If City had done this 20 years ago, not one of us could have had an argument, because there was no rules to stop. Anyone could have done this. That's my point now. Anyone could have done it. Anyone could have got bought. It just happened that, what Abramovich did, it changed footy, and he's half the reason why they brought all these rules and things in and all that kind of stuff. I have got no problems with an own. I wish ours would do it sometimes, spend fucking loads of money on boss players. Absolutely fine, but there still has to be a book, and if you are actively breaking the rules and trying to find sneaky ways around them, you are going to be like, it's a different argument. And I think it's good I think what he did in terms of building the ground and building the training ground and getting the best manager, they're all things that should be applauded by an ownership. But the fact that it's the cook in the books thing that gives you the resource to be able to buy all the players, that's where this comes from.
I'm not asked about the first few years where they ploughed loads in and they put £1 billion in when the rules weren't there. It's when the rules have changed. I'm with you, Steve. Yeah. It's when the rules have changed and you've got an offshore account and you're paying fucking managers salaries on top of this, and you're paying agent fees. It's not clever buying Erling Haaland for 50 million because there's a release clause, but no one else has got the money to pay another £50 million to agents and have that money go out of the game and stuff like that. Yeah. And the fact is, this season they're going to end up probably winning the Champions League, and UEFA don't like them because of the problems that they've had with them that couldn't get proved, but didn't mean that they were innocent. Two separate things, and you're going to have the Premier League doing exactly the same thing.
My biggest hope on this, Chloe, is that, and I don't have any faith that this is the thing, because the longer this goes, the more you just think it's just going to get swept under the rug, is we're finally seeing the lots of mentions of the charges. Like they did it on Match of the Day. I mean, Match of the Day are talking about hanging charges over the football club. That it's stupid, but that kind of matters because everyone watches Match of the Day. That's how people get their footy content. It's not just Miguel Delaney. It's like there's lots and lots of decent journalists are all talking about it. There's now I made this point a few months ago. Like, it's good for Arsenal to win it. It's good for the league, but actually, in some regards, it might be good for the league for City just to sweep everything up because it makes everyone look at it. The hope is that the reason they're taking the time is because they're going to do something.
Closing the loopholes.
Exactly. They're going to do something fucking mega with it because they're at this point, they've made the bed, the Premier League. If they don't do this now, then it's a free-for-all forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Newcastle are going to go and they're just going to do exactly the same thing and beyond. Man United's new owners will do exactly the same thing and that'll be it. It'll be fucked forever. They've got one opportunity now to put it right, but if they put it right, it's got to be something mega. It can't be like, well, there's £1 million fine and
see, I don't know. It depends because you're right. I get it. Sorry to interrupt there, but if they get a punishment, it does tar everything. And again, if the people who were in the stadium when they win the treble or whatever, they won't care because they still get those memories. But it does. It will matter. It'll matter to perception. I think it will matter. Like if it's somewhat legacy of footballers and football teams and stuff. That's what matters in the long run when they all retire. Yeah, you won the 5 titles, but
no one's ever letting them forget.
There's a big fucking asterisk next to it. You don't get the respect that they deserve. So I agree that there should be the punishment should be huge if they're guilty, but it doesn't matter what the punishment is. If they're found guilty, and even if they take 5 points off them for the next season, it's but every single fucking thing you've won, everyone knows you cheated. No one gives.
But you say that, but they've been effectively found guilty. They've been punished over these things, and no one gives a fuck because no one cares that you're only allowed to register 22 people in your Champions League squad. You know what I mean? No one cares when they've broken these things in the past. It needs to be something
massive.
It needs to be fucking massive.
You started this sort of talking about the journalists, and great that Match of the Day are doing it now. It's far too little, too late.
Yeah.
Because this should have been a talking point all season long. Since was it January when those charges came out? From January till today, the only journalist that I've consistently seen talk about it is Miguel Delaney, who is absolutely barraged. For him, he's been brilliant on it the entire way through. For everyone else, even on Saturday when they won the league, nobody mentioned it in their articles. It wasn't until Sunday when a memo fucking went round them all. Because the Saturday articles were all lauding this fantastic football. No, and this is the problem. If that had been written about week in, week out, you couldn't get away on Saturday from those articles. So they're all just complicit in it as well because they don't want to lose access and all that. I'm mad this actually saying stuff like that. But they should be, you're a journalist. You should be holding yourself to a higher regard and getting at the crux of the story. And the crux of the story has been and always will be that they're cheating fucking scumbags. And that's that.